Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Outside of Life. I'm Eva, for those of you who don't know me, and I do artist interviews and other art-related videos. And from October, there will be a bit less artist interviews and more of the other art-related content. And also the interviews will be a bit shorter, so you can fit them in your busy schedule. So I will try to keep them around 10 to 20 minutes. There will be also more year after videos like we did with Asha Ladovska or Lois. So you can look forward to those ones too. And this week's video is with David Alvarez, known on Instagram as Davexp. You can see some of his artworks here. And the video will be split into two parts. In the first part, we'll talk with Dave how he get to where he is now, so his life story. And in the second part, we will talk about how he grew his Instagram community so quickly. He built the followership from 0 to almost 300,000 just over 1 year. So you can watch two parts of this video. And before we get to the interview, I would like to thank Astroped for sponsoring this video. And thanks to Astroped, you can use your iPad Pro as a wireless drawing tablet for your Mac. And you can work with Photoshop and Illustrator directly on your iPad, which wouldn't be possible otherwise. And my favorite thing is that you can use all the custom-made Photoshop brushes, which I already created before. So, and you can see I have quite a few. And most of the time I use Astroped when I go to the co-working space, as it's super convenient and easy to use it with my laptop. And thanks to the guys over at Astroped, we can get it now with a 10% discount with using a promo code ARTSIDE. So you can go to artsideoflife.com/Astroped and use the 10% discount. And now let's just get to the interview. So welcome everyone to the next episode of Outside of Life, and I'm super happy to have David here. Hi!
Hello, Eva. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining, because it's always exciting to see like popular Instagram artists joining us and sharing the experience and the tips.
Of course.
So so I'm excited to start, and let's start with the, like your background and some of the biggest decisions you had to do in order to get where you are now.
Okay, so well, first, like I'm illustrating now. I'm mostly a digital artist. But I actually started as an animator. When I was 18 and I was just getting out of high school, I found these kind of flash animations people did even with stick figures and something like that. And I think what impressed me the most is that this was like just people on their homes making these animations. They're not people on studios or anything like that. So I just find really interesting that I could do that myself also. So I just downloaded some software to make these animations, and I just fell in love. Like, I don't remember being so invested in something as before,
Oh, that's so cool.
Because, in high school you have your favorite subjects, but some not. But this was like the first time, like something that I really, really loved. And I remember doing my first animation for like 2 weeks straight, like 12 hours per day. I was so invested on it. And that's when I discovered that animation was like really what I wanted to do.
And so high school was like a generic high school, and then you were doing the animations in the evening.
Yeah, no, I discovered it just after high school.
Oh, after high school, okay.
Because I was deciding, I was like an artistic person, of course, but I didn't know where to go. I almost went to graphic design, which I'm glad I didn't, because like making logos and banners is really not my thing. But so it ended up working very well. So after that, I decided to go to animation school, like a local animation school. And there I was introduced to all these programs like Photoshop, Maya, and all that stuff. And I think the biggest turning point there was that one of my teachers had a studio, an animation studio. So because he was my teacher, he saw my work and he liked it so much that he hired me on the company that I ended up working for 3 years, just making a lot of animated projects.
That's so cool. So then you were learning also on the job, right? Because then it's like paid actually, school, right?
Just after 1 month, I decided to drop out of school because the amount of things that I was learning, working and being paid was just completely different. So, and some of the things that they teach me in animation school were a little like outdated, you know. And because at my job, it was the actual industry, you know, I was learning like most useful things. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was how I started, I guess. Yeah.
Ah, that's super cool. So basically you didn't have to look for the first artistic job because it kind of came with your showing your skills at school, right?
It was a nice flow. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
And well, after that, I you know, like that was my dream job for such a long time. But after 3 years, I was a little, you know, kind of burned out of doing, because after a while, you just feel like you're doing the same commercial over and over again. So like one of my biggest turning points, I guess, was I decided to move to Iceland, like completely different country. Actually, there's a map here of Iceland. And because I just needed like a complete change, and like luckily, like I don't even know how this happened, but I found a job there.
As what? What did you do?
As an animator.
Oh, yeah. Wow, cool.
Yes, I was like, oh, Iceland is so beautiful. I have to go there. Maybe there's a job. So I started searching, and like I say, I was so lucky because Iceland is super small, you know, and there's like 2 animation studios, and it happens that they were hiring at that moment, you know. So it's also weird that they hire someone from Costa Rica, you know, because it's so inconvenient.
Well, but they look at your skills and your portfolio, and they're like, okay, probably you will fit in our team.
Yeah, and it worked perfectly. Like I spent 2 years there working on animated series, like one of the best times of my life, and that's why I say like it was a very big turning point. Yeah, after that, I just came back to Costa Rica and started doing some other stuff. Yeah.
And so how was the transition for you, you know, the animation and doing more the portraits and digital illustration?
Yeah, that was when I came back to Costa Rica, I actually started a small video game company with 2 of my friends. So we were just basically doing mobile games and stuff like that. But the thing I didn't enjoy is that at the end, like my partners and I didn't have like the same vision for the company. I was like, the whole reason for me to make a company was to have more creative freedom, you know, because I've been doing commercials for other people for 8 years. But they were more open to do like outsourcing kind of job, like pretty much what I was doing before. Also, like the investors were too, how do you say them? Like they were meddling on the creative process too much, I guess.
They wanted to be bigger part of the deciding process that you would like, maybe, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so at the end, like I was for 8 months doing artwork that I didn't even agree on. Like I found the design kind of ugly, but I had to do it, you know, for all day for 8 months. That was horrible. So yeah, then I decided to quit because what was I doing there? And that's when I came to the realization that if I wanted to have like creative freedom and eventually make money out of it, I had to take a shot at being kind of a digital artist influencer, like with Instagram, YouTube, and all that stuff. But I knew it was going to be hard, you know, because it takes time, you know.
Slow marathon process, right?
It's a marathon, yeah, and you have to be really aware of it because otherwise you will quit after 1 week or 1 month. And sorry, and what was I saying? I lost my train.
So when you were changing into the social media, you wanted to do more of your own stuff. And how was it as well for, you know, like when you told this to your friends or family, like this is what I'm doing, and also what was going on in your head, you know, like, okay, I'm doing this big change.
Yeah, most people were shocked. Like, I had to have lunch with my partner and say like, man, I'm not enjoying anything anymore of this company, you know, like I have to quit, you know. But it was hard because, you know, I had to leave some things behind, like some creative properties that I created. So it was a tough decision, but I had to do it, you know. And like literally like the next day I posted my first drawing on Instagram. my first daily drawing, and I've missed some days, but I've been almost posting every day for 1 year and 1 month, I think by now.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like just 1 year ago, I had 5,000 followers on Instagram. So, I mean, just the fact that you're interviewing me now, it's kind of surreal for me.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you start and you're like, oh, who is actually looking at my stuff? Or, these kind of thoughts. And then a year later, it's like so many people.
It blow up in such a weird way. And and what I say that because like the first 2 weeks 3 weeks that I was posting stuff, like there was nothing, like no comments, no likes, no anything. So it's easy, I guess, for people to quit or to not keep putting time into it. Yeah. But I mean, it's been like, I can say now that I can make a living out of Instagram and YouTube,
Oh, yeah, that's really good. Because now, basically your main incomes right now, well, how do you combine them? Is it either sponsorships or commissions, or what is it, what you're doing?
Yeah, I would say my main source of income are the commissions, for sure. But it was a slow process because when I had 5,000 followers, like when you're at that stage, you can't charge much, because you don't have the credibility, maybe. So I remember I was charging $25 for portrait, but also they were much simpler, the look of them. And I decided for myself, as a goal for myself, that I was not going to make any money or try to make any money until I had 100,000 followers on Instagram. That was just a personal goal, because I think I thought that it was important to just build the community and the credibility before even asking for something. And well, luckily that happened super fast in like 6 months or something like that. And I remember the next week I started charging $100 per portrait, And since I did that, I've been able to make a living out of that. But I also have other sources, like all the book I just released. I have the brushes, which is kind of a more passive income. Like I don't get much every day, but on the long term, it's something sustainable, I guess.
That's really great, because then you can build like more things into one. So if one is maybe low, so the other one can still keep up, and so that's great to kind of build everything together. And if you think about now overall, from the time you started with all art, just 3D and everything together, what would be maybe the advice you would give to yourself? Like something, I wish I knew this.
Let me think. I guess it sounds cliche, but just believing in whatever you're doing, because when people give you advice, I don't think the advice is good or bad. It just depends if it fits with your goal, because sometimes I get, you see my portraits, they're mostly women, they're very similar. And most people that follow me already accept that. They follow me because of that. But sometimes I get the advice like, hey, you should draw more men, you should draw more other stuff. And that makes sense. That would make sense if my goal was to work on at a studio or to build a portfolio or something like that. But that's not my current goal. My current goal is to make commissions and stuff like that. So I guess just a good advice would be to just accept the goal that you have and just accept like if the advice you're getting is good or bad for that goal.
Yeah, exactly. And then you think about exactly as you say, what is my goal and where I need to improve or what to focus on, right? So definitely that's something to think about. And then we will talk in the second part more about your artistic style. And as I mentioned at the beginning, that we will split this interview into 2 parts. So if someone is watching this really now fresh, then you just wait until the second part of the interview is released. And if you're watching this later on, of course, just click to the next video. So thank you guys for watching for now, and see you in the next video.